Welcome to Birds of a Feather. Today's video will show you a few tips that accompany our guide on how to install baseboard.
Alright, we're repinning our original trim back in place. We're going to use an 18 gauge pinner. Make sure you rent or borrow or buy one that'll do up to 2-inch pins. A lot of them want to go up to 1.5 inches, so you want 2-inch for doing the trim. We bought, I'm using Passlow galvanized 18 gauge pins, 1 3/4 inch. I like galvanized because they work a little bit better. They're a little more resistant to moisture, if you're worried about that in the basement. So what we're going to do is show you how to put a row of pins into the gun. You open this up, grab your pins in, use this. And this will take up to 2 inches, those are 1 3/4. Now, follow the instructions on your gun. Make sure you have goggles on. It talks about the pressure being anywhere from 70 to 120. So on our compressor, I've set it to 100. It's kind of middle of the road. Now, the other important thing is how deep your pins go. Once we pin our trim in, we're going to be filling it we have pre-finished trim, like we painted it already. So we're just going to fill it with a bit of white putty stick. We don't want the pins going in too deep because it's just more hole to fill. So every gun is a little different. This one you can adjust the depth of the pin going in using this little gauge here. So I'm going to try it in the lightest spot there. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the test. I've taken 2x4 as if it was my wall. It would be that way, but that's my 2x4, my piece of drywall and my piece of trim. My trim is 5/8 inch thick. Drywall is 1/2 inch. That's 1 1/8. So with 1 3/4 inch pins, we have 7/8 of a pin going into here, which is lots to hold trim on. So we set this up to do a test. We're going to test the depth of the pin. Put the goggles on. Keep your hands well away when you're working on anything. A pin can go in, and if it hits a knot in the wood, it can ricochet back. It can go down and shoot straight back out and hit your hands or your eyes if it happens to ricochet back. So occasionally when you use a pin gun, and this is why you want goggles on, it shot 2 nails out for some reason. It did a double instead of a single, and it's a real mess. So I have to pull those out. So I'm using vice grips and a scrap piece of wood, and I'm going to try and grab the head of this, and so I don't damage my wall. I'm going to try and rock it on there and pull it out. Gently so you don't break the nail. There, look at. We'll let the whole thing in one shot. Actually, maybe it wasn't 2. Let's see what it is. You know what? It's 1 nail. Look at how that doubled up. It must have hit something in there.
Yeah,
an old nail, and it ricocheted out and made a mess. We can fill this in, and I'll have to add another nail beside that. So that's why goggles. You don't know what's behind there.
Yeah, always wear safety goggles.
So. Be very careful where you place your hand. In this case, I put on its lightest setting. And I'm going to pin the thickest spot here. Push down. So the pin's gone in there. It's holding it tight, and you can see there's a little bit of depth there. It's not proud, so it's down in the wood. I'm going to try one more spot here. The top. So when I'm pinning my trim, I'll put it 1 near the bottom, 1 near the top. I'm going to go in the center of the top here. So this is thinner trim here. I'll just go into the wood a little deeper. Go like this. There we go. We can see that the nail head is set down in, which is good. Now, once you've done all your trim that way, the way we're going to fill it, we're just taking this putty stick. It's a white putty stick to match the paint. And you just rub back and forth. It's almost like a crayon. Until you fill the hole. Then you take, so you've got it all filled in. Then you're going to take a cloth. You're going to ball it up a little bit. You don't want to push the putty back out. You want to rub back and forth. Till you take the excess off.
That looks really good. You can't even see it.
Once that's up on the wall, you'd never see it. when you place your nails, like the top one, you want it in an area where you can easily put the putty in and pull the putty out. And if your trim is unfinished and you're going to pin and then putty all the holes and paint, you still want it to be easy to sand that putty out. So you don't want to put a pin down in the groove there. It'd have a hard time sanding it. So I'm going to fill this one too the same way. I'm going to take a rag. Wipe it off, and there we go. Here's our sample trim. So now we're going to go ahead and do the whole wall. Make sure you have the goggles on. So this is the original trim we had in the house, so it all fits, it's all cut. Job's really easy this time. We don't have to mark all of our studs where we're going to put our top. The bottom pins can go anywhere because you have a bottom plate on your wall all the way across. The top, you have to hit your studs. But because I can see the little tiny spots where I put putty in last time, I know I'm on those studs, so I don't have to check for all the studs with a stud finder this time. So, because this trim fits against that one, and at the other end it fits against, we're going to put the back piece in first. So I move that out of the way. And we know these fit because we've had these put in here before. So now, we're simply going to take our pinner, and the compressor may come on at some point. It'll be a little loud, but don't worry about that. So I've got it tight into the corner, cut tight down to the ground. This place to start at the bottom, because you know there's a bottom plate all the way across. The top, I should be able to get one in the corner. Stud right there. Now I simply have to look. You can see a little bit of a divot there where I put one there. Leave the bottom, so don't go too low because you have to be able to fill that and sand it. And you can offset a little bit from that, just so it's not as obvious if you happen to see your little putty marks.
Now I should mention that you'd only be sanding it if you're actually using wood filler. With the stick that we're using, there's no need to sand. It's just basically taking a cloth to remove some of the excess.
When you're putting your trim in, push it down and in as tight as possible.